Do you know what separates the entrepreneurs from the wantrepreneurs? What if the only thing standing between you and a six-figure business is mastering these 5 key skills? And these skills are nothing new, but most people still have trouble with them. Sometimes we just need a refresh. In this video, I'm gonna break down the 5 key skills that you need to make it to the top. But before I do that, let me explain how a video like this works. For those of you that are new to the channel, we talk about the topic at hand first because you probably clicked on a thumbnail or a title, and then I show you some sales that sold from my personal eBay everything store so that you can see what is possible for you. In between those sales, I talk about comments or I take questions. So if you ever have something to say, leave it in the comments below. Plus, I have a really fun segment called Who Be Talking Shit, where we call out the trolls that don't have anything better to do than come and talk shit. First, let's talk about the topic at hand, which is the 5 key essential skills. The way that I'm going to do this is that I'm going to present a problem and then I'm going to give you a solution. And why? Because Resellutions gives you real solutions. First, let's talk about the problem that most people face in almost any business. Problem number 1 is procrastination and analysis paralysis. What skill do you need to overcome that? Execution. This is definitely my favorite. And let me give you a solution. The way that you break from analysis paralysis or procrastination is by executing smaller goals based on a larger goal. You have to give yourself timelines. You have to give yourself to-do lists. You have to basically break it down from a huge thing that you need to do into smaller pieces. And the reason you do that is because your brain can catch that easier. You understand it better, so you're more likely to go through with it. I love execution as the best and most reasonable skill to have and to master because you can have the best ideas in the world. You can be the best everything, but it doesn't mean shit if you don't go through with it. You have to put in the work. And for us, of course, as resellers means you have to list, you have to go find product all the time, and you have to hustle. You have to execute on that all the time. The second problem most people have in our niche or in our market, which is reselling, is the fact that they get overwhelmed with all the information that is out there on the internet, on YouTube, everywhere. There's too much info. There's too many new fads. There's too many new trends. There's too many new shiny things. So what skill do you need to master in order to combat this? The skill of continuous learning. Let me give you a solution to this problem. You need to set aside time, preferably the same time every single day, to continue to learn on whatever your market is, whatever your niche is, whatever you sell, you need to learn from there. You also need to go and find a specific place where you gather information. For example, if you come to me and this community, people can help you here. If you feel comfortable, then you get information from here. But not just me. You need to find people and places where there's information that you need from people that you can trust. But you continuously have to learn. That never stops. The third problem most people have, and I hear this all the time, is that they get overwhelmed or there's too much going on. They have too many responsibilities, which leads to burnout and them not doing their best. What skill do you have to master in order to combat this problem? Time management. Look, you can write it down on a piece of paper. You can put it on your phone. You can use calendars. You can use whatever you want. But you need to be able to track all this. You need to be able to track your time. You need to be able to set schedules. You need to be able to remember everything that you need to do so that you don't miss deadlines. The fourth problem most people have is the issue of changing markets. Everybody, oh my God, ya valió madre. A little change happens and they lose their shit. Most people are like, oh my God, they don't know what to do. They're not able to move and shift how they're supposed to. So what skill do you need to combat this problem? You need to master the skill of adaptability. You need to be adaptable because markets always change. Take a look at the tariffs, for example. If you were importing product, the tariffs are going to affect you in the short term. So you need to be adaptable. You need to be able to change your business model like that so that you can adjust to whatever is happening around you. That way you don't lose your business and you don't lose your shit. The fifth and final problem that most people have is the inability to keep a good circle of people around them. This is huge. Most people don't understand that they need positive people, people that want the best for them around them at all times. If not, your business will eventually fail. What skill do you need to master in order to combat this problem? You need to master the skill of networking. This is a huge deal no matter who you talk to. Anybody successful has a good network. That means that you need to either join online communities, you need to go maybe Facebook groups, local meetups, whatever. It doesn't really matter where you network. You just need to network with other people that are in the same business as you, and you need to provide them value before they provide any value to you. If you're a giver first, if you want to help first, they will eventually help you. And this doesn't happen overnight. You need to cultivate these relationships. So you have to put in the time if you want real people that are good to you around you at all times. And those are the 5 skills that you need to master to make it all the way to the top. And I know that a lot of you are rolling your eyes or saying things like, why am I watching this? Why am I listening to this? I already know these 5 skills. Okay, if you look within and you're really truthful, how many of you have fallen off the wagon? Maybe you haven't mastered all these 5 skills. Maybe you know what you need to do, but you don't do it. Sometimes we just need a swift kick in the ass by someone else to remind us of things we already know. You can consider me that person. I really hope that you take this to heart and keep leveling up. All right, now that we touched on the topic at hand, let's go to the sales. Let me go to the back end and let's get the party started. Before we go to the actual sales, let me take a question. This is at Coda 565. They are referencing how smart resellers will win big from 2025 tariffs. Okay, it says, I don't understand the niche market thing. Are you saying like just pick one product to sell like Lego and not sell anything else? Okay, well, you could do that, but I understand that it's going to be very difficult for most people to make that a big business or to scale up. What I mean is one category. For example, you can do apparel. You can sell pants, shirts. You can sell accessories, like belts, hats, shoes, all that. Technically, shoes, hats, and belts are accessories, but a lot of people will consider that apparel. They will put it all together. So you can do things like that. You can do just footwear. You can do electronics. For example, you can sell this. These are electronics. This is my microphones. They're also electronics as in DVD players, Blu-ray players. You can do all types of electronics. All I'm recommending is niche down. And the reason you want to do that is because you will become a badass. You will become a professional in that one category. Therefore, when you go out and source, it's going to be way easier for you to find product because you already know what you're looking for. Because you know all the odds and ends, you know all the ins and outs of that specific category, and it makes it way easier for you to make money. It also makes more sense to the customer when they come to your store and they look at one type of product, meaning if they're looking for electronics, maybe they wanted these headphones or these microphones, and then maybe they also wanted a Blu-ray player or some headphones, or they wanted something else in the electronic department because that's usually how people shop. So that's what I recommend. I hope that answers your question. And thank you very much for asking. Next, or first sale, this is the Ray-Ban sunglasses RB3192. I wanted to start with the good one. By the way, these were not the best looking ones because they're kind of small. It fits a very certain type of person. But Ray-Bans like this, especially the rimless ones, they do make money and they do sell. It took a little bit to sell. I bought them I put them up in October. They finally sold. And look, I paid $25. Most people will be like, well, I wouldn't pay that much for glasses. Okay, well, there's a reason. Whenever you find a great product, don't be afraid to buy it for a great price. The person that's selling it to you deserves to run their business properly too. So give them a great price and maybe they're going to give you better deals in the future. So don't be afraid to do that. I paid $25. Look at this. Sold for $87.25, $8.99 shipping. After fees and everything. Oh, there you go. After fees and everything, I brought home $79.53 minus the $25. So what is that? $55 in profit just about. $55 of profit. That means that I doubled what I paid that person. We all deserve to run a good business. Don't be afraid to pay when it's great product. And I can tell you right now, Ray-Ban is a pretty good pickup. Almost always, and especially, trust me, because I am an eyewear professional, rimless does really well because it's very old school, very 90s look, and it's in right now. Let's go to the next sale. Gourmet Settings GS Tier Braid Stainless Spoons. You guys can read the rest. Okay, I bought them for $1 each, as in $4 for the 4 spoons, because I bought a shitload of product like this. I think I bought maybe 25 pieces. And they were, some of them were bigger spoons, smaller spoons, and I just put what made sense together. And I said, okay, what makes sense? When you sit down to eat, you eat with 4 people, 8 people, 10 people, and so on and so forth. Usually that's how the sets are sold. Can I sell them in singles? Yes, but the shipping is too high to where you make a lot less money. So I rather bundle them. So I sold these 4 for $17.99, $5.99 shipping. After fees and everything, I brought home $14.37. So $10 in profit. You might be thinking, well, $10 is not a lot of money. But these, they don't cost me any time to shoot. It's super fast. I did one listing and then I just sold similar because I made a whole bunch of listings for this type of braided products. And I bought it for, and actually I paid less than $1, but I just put $1 because it's easy math. I bought it for less than $1 at an estate sale, and I bought a whole bunch of it. I have knives, I have forks, I have these spoons. I kept some because they're super cool. And it does sell. People want to replace these, and these are, they're really not that easy to find. You can find them on eBay for sure, but say that somebody wants to go replace them and they go to Walmart, they're not going to be sold at Walmart. They're not going to be sold at Target. They're not going to be sold other than on eBay. So doing things like this makes you money. Next, this is Vince t-shirt, sleeveless dress. I don't sell women's, almost zero women's now, but this was my girl's dress. She looks so sexy in this. Such a good dress. Okay, long dress. So that's why it says $0. And I put it up for a price. I put it up in September. So it took a while to sell, but sold it for $31.93, $8.99 shipping. After fees and everything, I brought home $23.62. So $23 in profit. The brand Vince is a good brand, and especially these t-shirt dresses. It's gonna get hot now. They're sleeveless. It looks nice. I mean, especially for somebody that is curvy and looks, and they want to wear something like this. It's a nice dress. I love it. And it's very basic, gray. Now, selling things that are very basic in color, it's kind of hard sometimes to make people stop when they're scrolling through their phone. So be careful with putting up too much stuff that is black, khaki, gray. I'm not saying it won't sell. It's just more difficult because it gets lost with all the other products that are like it that are also on eBay. So just be careful. Next question. Oh, hey, everybody. This is what people tell me that they love to come for. And this is the segment of Hobie Talking Shit. This goes out to @AlexAAA, whatever 7. They are referencing eBay promoted listings. Worth it, or is it a scam? First of all, he says, if you're afraid to tell the truth, not the truth. If you're afraid to tell the truth, don't say anything. Okay, I'll say whatever I want. Next, he says they charge 20 to 25% per sale, not sale, not 12.9% as advertised, and you really believe it's not enough that they're trying to rip off sellers for more promotion. When you add up shipping costs and sale tax, the total they charge fees comes to 20 to 25%. Okay, first off, this idiot thinks that the shipping cost is a fee that eBay is charging. It's not a fee. Shipping cost is what you pay to UPS, USPS, FedEx to get it to your customer. They're not charging you a fee. They're not charging like $8.99, $9.99, whatever you pay for their label. That's not a fee. That's something that you have to pay for a service for somebody else to get the product to your customer. They do charge a 12.9% fee, whatever I was referencing there. They base it on the total item price, the shipping price, and the taxes for sure. They take it off the top line. And I have a video that talks about this. But they're not trying to screw you for more promotion. Secondly, pendejo. First of all, if you're gonna be talking shit, learn how to type properly, use better grammar, and don't sound like an idiot. Second, he says they charge 20 to 25%. They don't charge 20 to 25%. If you want to promote, then maybe, yeah, it can go to 20 to 25%, depending on how much you want to promote. But that doesn't mean that they just take it off the top. If you don't want to promote, then don't promote. Normally, what eBay charges is 12 to 15% to be on their platform, which is allowing you to gain access to all of their customers. So, and don't ever tell me that if you're afraid to tell the truth, don't say anything. First of all, I always tell the truth, and you can ask anybody here. You know what? In fact, for all of you that are watching this, that especially you that are Posse members, you guys, please set him straight. Do I really lie to you guys? Do I say things that are just untrue because I'm some type of douchebag just lying to people? I do not. So anyways, that's it. That's all I'm going to do with this because we got to move on. At Alex AAA whatever 7, you have been this week's idiot of Who Be Talking Shit. Jesus Christ, dude, people, man, sometimes. This might be a bot too, though, by the way, because horrible English, probably from overseas somewhere, doing some bullshit, just trying to stir things up. What this person doesn't know is that it actually helps the algorithm. It pushes my video out. So, you know what? Keep talking shit. It's all good. Next, here we have Simpson Mechanic shirt, men's 2XL, gray short sleeve button up. I bought it for $3. And this was new, by the way. It had tags somewhere. The tags, I think, are on the inside. But it did have tags. Sold for $30 free shipping. After fees and everything, I brought home $18.29. So $15.29 in profit. This, by the way, Simpson is a great brand. They are in my area, and they make racing things. They make FR gloves, meaning fire retardant for racers. They make helmets. They make all types of merchandise, and whenever you see Simpson, I do recommend it. They are still American made, and their product works really well. The shirts might not be American made, but their helmets, their fire retardant stuff is still made here, and it is a great pickup. I do recommend it. Next, 3 Deep VHS Stephen King. This was part of creepy. Ugh, I hate clowns. This was part of my retail arbitrage, and look at that. I put it up a long time ago, and I bought a bunch of these, by the way. Not it, but a bunch of different movies, and I've sold them through months of just having them on here. I bought it for $10 March of last year, so it took about a year, which is not regular for me, but you know, it is what it is. Sold it for $10, or bought it for $10, sold for $30.86, $9.99 shipping after fees and everything. I brought home $26.61, so $16.61 in profit. Again, for those of you that are new to the channel, my rule of thumb for retail arbitrage is 30% on my money. Meaning, if I spend 10, I expect at bare minimum to make $3 in profit. So I would have to get $13 back. That's it. Very simple. 30% profit margin is okay with me because when I do retail arbitrage, I usually pick up a lot of one product. And with that said, let me show you the next sale, which is retail arbitrage. This is the Coors Corduroy Snapback Hat, Golden Colorado, men's khaki beige. You guys can read the rest. Anything that has a rope, by the way, they just do well for me. And I didn't pay, $2, $3. I paid $10. So I paid up for this, but I already know these are going to sell, especially the corduroy. Great hat. And before I tell you what they sold for, this person also bought this one, Cabela's. Most of you are going to be saying, well, does Cabela's really sell? Because it's just such a basic hat and they're everywhere. Yeah, Cabela's hats sell. People love the brand. It's a very outdoorsy brand, especially hunters, and they want to wear it. Maybe they don't want to have the camo on them, or maybe they don't want to have anything like a big logo. It just says Cabela's. It's a nice hat. I bought it for $1, by the way. So what am I in right here? $11 for both hats. They're going overseas, as you can see right here, because there's VAT taxes. Sold for $52.98. $10 VAT taxes. I don't get any of that. That's just something that eBay deals with. And after fees and everything, I brought home $38.27, so $27 in profit. These are great pickups. I love picking up hats, especially. So I sold this Coors one. Beer hats, they do well. I've If you guys have watched my videos from the previous weeks, I've been selling the Miller Lite hat. If you find it with the rope and white, trust me, buy it. It's been selling chingos for 35 bucks, free shipping. So I love selling these hats. They do well. They're very comfortable, and you can always find them at TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross. I don't remember the rest of them, but I pick them up all the time. Great hats. Again, for those of you that watch me, I've said this before. They're not super fast movers. Hats are never gonna sell really fast, but they do sell and they do make money. So I do recommend them. Let's go to the next one. Here we have a comment at Onyx Asylum. This is a Posse member. That's why it says new right there. They're referencing What the FAQ Thursdays. This is a video that only comes out for Posse members where I deep dive questions. On Wednesdays, they send me 2 burning questions and I deep dive them as in a long video explaining whatever they want to talk about. And it's not always about reselling. They can ask about anything they want and we get into all kinds of subjects, which I love because sometimes you need to space out and talk about something else, or sometimes you might need motivation or something else. For example, they say, at Onyx Asylum says, thank you, and the points made, I needed to hear today. I was talking about no one is watching. So who are you when nobody is watching? Are you an Instagram person? Always on Instagram instead of listing? Instead of buying, instead of doing anything else productive? Who are you? Who are you when somebody is asking you questions and you say one thing, but then behind their back, you say something else? Who are you? Who do you want to be in this world? And that's what I was talking about. And a lot of people, they love to talk about this because they get motivated, or maybe they get a swift kick in the ass and a reminder of who they are and who they want to be. And a lot of the times, we talk about, again, all types of subjects. And I love talking about them because we get into real deep conversations. And I think that it's necessary. As an entrepreneur, things get very difficult sometimes. So you need to be in a community that cares not only about money, not only about the next sale, not only about where to find product. Give me the list. Give me an Excel sheet. Like most of the other YouTube channels that you'll see. I don't want to do just that. I want to build better resellers, better human beings, so that we can get a better world, honestly. And a lot of the times, if you go and you become a Posse member, you'll see that through the Posse member videos. They send them again. They send questions on Wednesday. I do it on Thursdays. Usually it's about an hour-long video because I get quite a few questions, and they're great, reseller related or not. Next sale. Here we have Jack Spade briefcase. Oh, this is a good one. I remember this went to Canada, I think. I put it up in June and I put it up for a decent price. And I said, I'm not going to really budge on this too much because I know that the right person will come along and I don't mind waiting because I really like that bag. Jack Spade makes decent bags. The fabric is good. The leather is good. And it's a very basic, nice, sleek design. I bought it for 10 bucks at a Goodwill, I remember. Sold for $70, $14.99, and of course they paid all these fees because they're importing to Canada. After fees and everything, I brought home $50.68. What did I say? I paid $10. So I made $40.68 in profit. I love selling bags. The only problem with having a lot of bags is that they take a lot of space. But I love selling bags, especially these messenger types, like for professionals. They put their laptops in there. They put their writing materials in there. They put whatever in there. I myself use a backpack because that's just me. I just love a backpack and it's already set to where I have everything in there. But I do love these bags. Great bags. Jack Spade, remember that. That is a great bowler brand. They can go for upwards of $100 depending on which bag you pick up. Next, here we have Polo Ralph Lauren plaid button-up shirt, men's large green long sleeve. You guys can read the rest. This was part of my free shipping test. I bought it for $3. I put it up in February. Sold for $31.47 free shipping after fees and everything. I brought home $21.93, which is about $18.93 in profit. That is a good pickup. Now, most of you and most people would put, well, why didn't you put Madras plaid in there? Well, because this isn't official Madras plaid. Madras plaid comes from a very specific part of India when it's made. And I don't like to do that because I know that it's a key word and a lot of people will see it And there's a bunch of keywords that people misuse so that they can get more eyeballs on their product. And I don't like to do that because I feel that it's kind of misleading. That leaves you, or that can get you to a lot of returns or a lot of INADs, which is item not described, because it's not Madras Plaid. It is Madras Plaid like, and you can say that, but I don't like that, man. I've never liked that. It's some ghetto shit. So I rather just put, it's plaid shirt, it's green, and it's a classic fit, and it's sold anyways. So just an FYI, because that's just how I feel about that. You might say, well, you're stupid, and you know what? I'm going to do it because I'm just going to get all the sales, and you're not going to get any fine. Then you do you. But that's just not what I do. Next, here we have Stargate Atlantis again, media sales. Complete series DVD. I bought it all at Goodwill for $1 each because they were $2 and they were half off. $1 each for each season, by the way. There's 5 seasons total. Sold for $32 free shipping. This was also part of the free shipping test. After fees and everything, I brought home $18.23, so $14.23 in profit. This takes 0 time to shoot in pictures, 0 time to list. It's super fast. And I mean, I already have a lot of media anyways. And it's still, I turned $4 into 14. I'll take that any day, baby. All right, next. Here we have another comment. It's a comment. They are referencing how to sell ties on eBay, step by step for maximum profit. If you guys haven't watched it, it's a great video. I love that video. And it is part of my classes with glasses. That means that I wear the Meta glasses that have the camera. And I take you from POV, from my point of view, so you can see everything that I'm doing. And then I'm explaining it like as in when you're in a classroom. I promise you that if you watch those videos, I will make you proficient and efficient in all your classes, whichever one you watch. So far, I have 2, and I am going to make more. At Cholo Card Collector, he's part of the posse. When I read that, I started cracking up. I don't know if you mean Cholo as in, hey, ¿qué onda, bata? Or what kind of Cholo, but it's just hilarious. And I know you're part of the posse. Please explain. I would love to know. He says, watch this video Thursday and sold my first tie last night. Great. That means that in a couple of days, sold. Órale, wey. Has to come back and watch again. Gracias. De nada, carnal. It's all good. So this is the type of stuff that I love to do because it puts you in my eyes from a 6-figure seller's perspective on how I run my business, how I do things, and I'm explaining it. I'm talking to my camera because there's always a camera still set up, but then you see what I am seeing. And I'm gonna try to do way more of these. I think the next one that I'm gonna try to do is how to replace watch batteries or take some of the links off or things like that. I think I might do that because I love timepieces, but I don't know. I'm not sure yet. If you guys have any suggestions, leave it in the comments below. And by the way, if you like this info so far, give this video a like, share this with anyone that needs to see it, and subscribe for more. I always forget to say that. Next, here we have Eddie Bauer hiking pants, men's 32-34. Great pants. I know that a lot of you won't pick them up because they're like, it's Eddie Bauer. Well, if you have slash pockets or if you have cargo pants or if you have something for people that are really outdoorsy, because Eddie Bauer makes basic pants too, but the ones that have pockets and they're more useful, they do sell. They won't be the fastest mover, but they do sell. And you can usually pick them up for nothing. I picked them up for $3, sold for $22.22, $8.99 shipping after fees and everything. I brought home $18.71, so $15 in profit. That is a good pickup. And if nothing else, I could actually wear those because I'm a 32-34. Technically, I'm a 32-32. But sometimes I use the 34s because I like to bunch them up or put them over my boots. Like somebody actually said, like, hey, man, a lot of people that buy the really long ones, they put them over their boots. And I understand what they do that. When you go hunting, when you're out and about, sometimes you want to make sure that you put them over the boots so they don't ride up on you so you get extra long pants. So good call out for whoever called that out. I forgot who it was. Sorry. But thank you very much for calling that out. Next, here we go. Cody James. Great brand to pick up. Cody James men's jeans. First off, let me say this. Look at that. It says 33-34. When I measured them, they were 33-37. So this is when there's a big disparity. I do that. I put the width or the waist and the length, the inseam. And then in parentheses, I put the width or the size, the size in the inseam right next to it so that they can understand that it's going to be off. but for whatever reason, it's going to be like, that was way longer, but they still sold. Bought them for $4, sold for $29.98, $8.99 shipping after fees and everything. I brought home $21.04. So $17 in profit. Great brand to pick up. This were very basic. I've seen some Cody James pants go for quite a bit more money, but they do sell, so I do recommend them. Next, Lululemon. This sold within, I think, 1 or 2 days. I think it maybe 2 days. No, 1 day. Let's just say 1 day. Of course, I'm not going to go into Lululemon. I think most of you understand that Lululemon is they're very good pants. I can say this, though, for me personally, because I've seen how much these cost. It's like $140 to go buy these pants. I would never spend that much money on these. I'm not saying that they're not made well or anything like that, but I've bought pants for about $30 at Marshalls that are like unbranded. And they did the exact same thing as the Lululemon. So I said, nah, I don't care about brands. I don't really care about any of that. So I wouldn't wear them, but I know that people love them. And they feel good and they fit good, which I'll give them that. I bought them for $5, part of the free shipping test. Sold for $44.99. I had them up for $50. Somebody sent an offer for like $30. And I was like, bro, you're not getting them for $30. So I said, the best I can do is $45. And they finally budged. They kept sending, back and forth. They're trying to get them cheaper. I'm like, no. Sometimes you have to stick to your guns. If you have a good product, stop giving all the margins away. Don't be all horny to get all the money. To give all your money away. Sometimes you got to wait. Just wait for the right buyer, especially when you have Lululemon like this. $44.99 free shipping after fees and everything. I brought home $27.26, so $22.26 in profit. In fact, I could probably get a little bit more money if I waited, but I said, I'm not an asshole either. I'll give a discount, but I'm not going to give like 50% off. Todo loco, nambe way. I'll give some discount. In this case, I gave them $5 off, and they were okay with it. I already shipped them out. Next question, or let me see. They are referencing how to shoot clothing photos faster for eBay, Poshmark, Mercari. This goes out to Chris Med 2. Pants with no measurements are the worst. I find myself asking the seller for measurements, and half the time they don't respond. Rise, waist, thigh, and leg opening are much appreciated on pants listing. Okay, so I put this up because I understand that some people really want this information, and it's usually the guys that are either really tall or they have really big legs. Either they work out or they're just, fatter dudes or bigger dudes, and that's okay. But I can tell you from my experience, and most people that sell a lot of clothing will tell you the same thing. Most people don't want this information. He's referencing that video because in that video, I don't include any of those measurements. And honestly, I don't include them ever. The time that I give them those measurements only if they ask, because if I go through 500 products and only one person asks, why would I do that work for 500 products when nobody's asking except one person? So instead, I'd rather save that time and then give it to that person, that one person that wants the measurements. So I go pick them up from my warehouse, measure it, and send them out. That's it. That's all I do. But I understand why people need them. I get it. In the perfect world, if I had, like, say, my own brand that I would able to replenish and it wasn't like reselling to where you're selling one-offs, then for sure I would have all the measurements, but that's because I have to replenish it. Why would I do that for 500 or 1,000 different products that I constantly have to shoot photos of? Nambe, it's too much work. So I said no. And I've been pretty successful not including those measurements, and I don't get a lot of returns. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is he right? Should I do that? Or am I right? Should I just save the time and do it only if somebody asks? Let me know in the comments below. I really do want to know. Next, here we have vintage Holt Howard. These are great. They look gorgeous when I saw these. They're candlestick holders. Very basic, very nice. MCM looking. They're not MCM technically, but they're MCM looking, that style. And I bought them at an estate sale, like a weird ass estate sale that we went to, my girl and I, in San Marcos, Texas. But I did buy them for $2. They did sit for a while because it takes a very perfect, like the perfect buyer to buy these. But they sat for a while, but I did sell them for $38.94 free shipping. After fees and everything, I brought home $33.79. Technically not this, because I just saw that I haven't shipped these out. So let's say that I'm going to pay, those don't weigh anything. They're still going to be about, I think I can ship them for under £1, but maybe the ceramic is too heavy. Let's say that I'll spend $10 in shipping if they go over £1. So that brings our total to $23 minus the $2 that I paid. So $21 in profit, still a very good profit. I don't do a lot of breakables anymore because I just haven't, as you guys, for those of you that watch my channel a lot, I'm just not doing breakables. Honestly, because they're a pain in the ass and I don't want to do them anymore. But I do them when it's certain things that that I just enjoy having, or when they do give me a certain amount of profit. In this case, they were that. They gave me a certain amount of profit and I was okay with that. Next. Oh, these are cool. I bought these at a garage sale for nothing. It says $2, but technically I bought them for $2 for all of them. So they cost me like 50 cents because I have a bunch of them. I've sold a bunch and I actually gave some of these to a friend of mine that works at a restaurant. He's a bartender. Actually, technically, he's a bartender and manager of the restaurant. And he's a good friend. And I said, hey, you can have them, bro. It's all good. Because he always hooks me up when I go eat. We have a good time. We have good conversations. He sells Hot Wheels. In fact, he's a professional in Hot Wheels for sure. Anyways, I bought these for, let's say $2 and they bought two. So $4. Again, I paid about 50 cents, but honestly, I don't remember. So if I put $2, we're just going to take the $2. Sold for $33.88, shipping for $17.98. I haven't shipped these out. After fees and everything, I brought home $41.35. Let's start there. They're heavy, so they're going to ship out for about $12. So that brings us to $29.35 and then minus the $4. So about $25 in profit, and I have a whole bunch of those. Anytime that you have quantities of something that sells, man, just hurry up and pick them up, because why would you not want to? You can take pictures once, you can do the listing, and you don't have to touch it again. Everything's already done for you. So you just sits there and makes money. Exactly like the Reselloupe, sucker. This is mine. I replenish it because I make these here in my home. I make these with my 3D printer. It's great. I love these. If you guys don't have one already, of course, I always pitch my product because I love it and I know that it works. This is the yellow one. This is the red one. This points out features and benefits. This points out flaws. They're not expensive and they are very durable. You guys can get some. I'm going to link them down below. I do love this product, and most of the people that bought them love them. Next. This is the final sale. Here we have vintage brass owl. First of all, owls are almost always in. They are very cool. They are very cute. You can put them on, like if you have a bookcase or if you have like a library. They just look cool. People love owls. I bought this in March at a Goodwill. My girl actually found this. And I said, I don't mind paying $2.50. This is great. And it's made of solid brass. So these were, I paid $2.50, or this one was, I paid $2.50, sold for $24.99, $8.99 shipping because it is heavy. But it's going to ship for about $10, if anything. After fees and everything, I brought home $27.47. I haven't shipped this out. So let's say $10. That puts me at $17 minus the $2.50. So about $15 in profit. I'll take it any day. And if nothing else, if this didn't sell within, I think I gave myself 3 months. I said, if it doesn't sell in 3 months, I'm taking that bitch and I'm putting it back here because I love to put new stuff in my library. If you guys notice, it changes. I don't have a lot of big changes all the time, but it does change. I add things all the time or I delete things. And in fact, I do this. James Rollins, I'm trying to get the entire collection, preferably in paperback with the small ones. And I'm trying to get all of those. So if you guys have James Rollins books in your stores, let me know and I will go and check them out. Last question or comment. They are referencing how to sell ties on eBay. Again, great video. You guys should check it out. This goes out to @ResellCrazy. Says, such a perfect timing. I went to a $5 bag sale recently and had extra room in my bags. So I put ties in my bags. I maybe paid 10 cents per tie. Wow. That's cheap. And then it says, I thought I need to learn about them and list in less than a week. You made this video. Perfect timing. Thank you. You're very welcome. I did put this up though because I wanted to give you guys a heads up. When it comes to ties, we think that, we have a bunch of ties. We pay 10 cents anyways. So let me spend the time to put them up. Be careful what you put up because sometimes you're just doing extra work for no reason. Not all ties sell. Ties usually have... They have a very specific market. So you have to know what you're looking for. For example, Brooks Brothers sells really well. There's Hermenegildo Zegna, sells really well. There's Polo Ralph Lauren, always sells really well. And there's a lot of different ties like that, but there's so many tie makers that you gotta be careful what you're picking up. Most polyester ties will not make you the money that you want, so just give them away, get rid of them. Silk, linen, wool, cotton, and other things. But mostly what people are looking for is the design has to be good. It has to be decent. You can't just put some random pattern and then expect somebody to really want to wear it all the time. Because a lot of the times the people that buy ties are going to be, most of the time it's going to be professionals. So they want basic stripes or solids or paisley design or dotted, like polka dots or something basic like that that's not too loud, not too overdone. So just be careful with doing extra work with no payoff. All right, and that was the last, that was the last comment. Let me go back here real quick. And there you have it. That is it, everybody. I gave you the 5 essential skills that you need to make it all the way to the top. Now that you know that, I really do hope that you take all that I talked about to heart and implement it into your business so that you can see me at the top. I'm not at the very top yet, but I will definitely work with you, alongside you, and so we can both, or all of us, get all the way to the top, baby. Yeah! To continue supporting the channel, you can always send your thanks with the thanks button down below. You can buy the Reselloupe to add value to the photos you're already taking. Better photos means better sales, plain and simple. And you can become a member of the Resellutions Posse for less than gas station coffee. And you get access to What the FAQ Thursdays. We talk about all kinds of subjects, like I said before, and it is great. People love it. The community is growing. I think we're at 75 strong, and people seem to love the videos, so you can always join. Click the join button down below. As always, give this video a like, share this with anyone that needs to see it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already so you don't miss awesome videos like this. See you in the next one. Peace and cheers, everybody. I finished my beer, so now I'm having the water. Oof. And I do want to say something. By the way, look at what happened today. Hold on. Let me see if I can show you. Look at that. That was at Spider Mountain. It's a downhill mountain bike park. And I have other stuff in other places, but that's the biggest one. I wanted to show you that because I'll tell you what happened. On the second run, it was I did the first run. It was very basic. I wanted to warm up. And then I got confident. I said, nah, I'm already warm. I'm just going to go for it with the difficult lines or with the ones that have more rocks and more drops and more jumps and stuff. And I said, nah, I got overly confident. And I hadn't ridden a bike in about 2 weeks maybe, which is a long time for me. And I said, nah, you know what? Again, I got overly confident. I said, let's go. And I was going. And the dumbest mistake made me eat it. I just went on the side. I scraped all my side. I messed up my ankle. My shoulder hurts, and also this shoulder hurts. And because I got overly confident. I tell you this because a lot of the times we get overly confident with the way that we source, with the way that we list, with the way that we're doing things that we don't want to innovate. We don't want to change. And we think that we're just like, you know what? I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And then we make big mistakes. My mistake cost me some skin. What is your mistake going to cost you? Think about that. Man, this shit hurts. A su madre, güey. No mames. Puros putazos. Aquí, my ankle, my side. Todo pendejo.